Alrighty, what is up everybody? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we are going to be ranking every level in Skylanders Imaginators on a tier list. Now, I'm very excited to do this. There weren't really any tier lists out there that only had the levels from Imaginators, so I am doing a tier list as every level ever. But in this video, we're only doing the levels in Imaginators. We are doing adventure packs. I have 4 out of the 5, so we'll get to that at the end of the video. And I'm not doing Sensei Realms. I don't count those as levels, so I'm not going to do it in here. They're kind of mini levels for me. If you want to see me do a video on that, then let me know and I might do it. And make sure to leave your favorite level down in the comments below so I can get back to you, because you guys might like the same level as me or might not, and that's okay. Don't be offended by anything I say in this video. So let's get started with Cradle of Creation. Now, Cradle of Creation, it's always been one of my favorite like introductory levels. It's always been one of my favorite first levels. A lot of people really like trap teams. I'm not super big on trap teams. I think this one's better. I think it's a B tier level. It doesn't do anything amazing. It doesn't stand out from the crowd in any way, but I do think it's a pretty good level. It has 2 distinct segments, which are both pretty decent in my opinion. It has good combat, good level variety and diversity. Overall, pretty decent. And next up, we have Mushroom River. This for me is an easy S tier. I absolutely love this level. Don't know exactly why. I think I just love the aesthetic, as well as just the going down the river and fighting enemies. Very fun level. The platforming and the gimmicks of it are very well done. It's beautiful visually, and it's just very fun to play through. I feel like warm and cozy when I'm playing this level. It's very nice. I definitely like it. Definitely think it's one of the best levels in Imaginators. Next up, we have Scholarville. Scholarville is like one of the mascot levels for Imaginators. Like when you think of Imaginators levels, Scholarville always kind of pops in your head. For me though, I like it. I don't think it's quite an S tier. I'll give it B. I'll give it B because I do not like the evil sea monster. I hate that boss fight. I think going through the sewers and it's like this slow, sluggish section that isn't very fun at all and is super easy. It's not fun. The fight is not fun, and traversing through the sewers, I don't like it. However, the beginning of this level is great. I do like the action and the platforming. It's got a pretty unique aesthetic to it. Looks pretty nice visually, and it just reminds me of Imaginators in general. Like all the Imaginators trailers have this level. Pretty cool. I do like it. It's just not quite the best, and because of the evil sea monster segment at the end, I can't put it any higher than B tier. Next up, we got Shelmont Shores. For this is a solid A tier. I don't really have any big issues with this level. I think it does everything it's pretty well-rounded level. It's got a decent boss fight at the end with the swashbuckler Doomlander. I like that one. Nothing really to complain with there. And then the overall aesthetic I think is pretty nice. The enemies introduced are pretty good too, and just the puzzles, platforming, it's all pretty good. I don't really have any issues with this level. It does look really nice visually, which is always a plus. I like the whole beach aesthetic. I think it looks pretty nice, and the vortex that's always going in the back, it's pretty cool too. Overall, I just like it. When I think of Imaginators, is another level that I always think about, and it's just, I like playing through it, but it's not quite S tier. It doesn't give me the same sort of feeling as Mushroom River does. And next up, we got Sky Fortress. This is definitely for me just another B tier. I don't have any big issues with this except the guacamole monster. That is a stupid fight. I don't like it. It's not as bad as people say it is. I definitely think it's better than the evil sea monster, but it still kind of sucks. But this level overall is pretty similar to Scholarville for me. I think it has a unique aesthetic that looks pretty good, and it was also used a bunch in Imaginators advertising. It's got pretty good platforming. Some of the gimmicks are a little hit or miss, swinging the wrecking balls to hit the vultures that are carrying the TNT crates. Pretty cool. Once you get into the level, unscrewing all the locks that have the ship locked up, basically, I think that gets very tedious and drags on for way too long at the end. But this level does look very nice. It has great villains. I think the vultures are some really cool villains, actually. And the Night Doomlander is a pretty decent fight. So that's going to give this level a solid B tier. Next up, we got Fizzland. For me, this is an easy F. I hate this level. There isn't anything that I like about it. The aesthetic is horrendous. This might be the worst looking Skylanders level ever. It legitimately could be. I think it is. I don't think there's any level I hate this much. Switching between the realms is stupid. It looks pretty bad either way. No matter which realm you're in, the game looks kind of horrible. And this level high-key ruined Pop Fizz because every time you switch realms, he screams it out, and it's so annoying. And it makes this character really hateable. And then there's the globules, which came out of nowhere. I don't know what they are, but the entire gimmick of sucking them up and sorting them is stupid. It's not fun. I don't know anyone who enjoys that. It's just a big time waster, and it makes this level drag on even longer. The enemies aren't that good either. Most of them are just extremely annoying. And one of the main gimmicks of this level, which is pushing the balls into the trees, is so stupid and so clunky, and it is set up to just make you die in one section, or it's way too easy and it's not intuitive to play through at all. This level sucks. There isn't anything good about it. The fight at the end is kind of decent. That's like the only saving grace. The fight is not that bad at the end. I actually kind of like it. The entire level, though, complete garbage. The game would be better without it. And next up, we got Golden Arcade. For me, this is going to be probably a let's see, I think it's an A tier level, actually. The boss fight at the end is unique, which is nice. It might not be the best battle in the series, but it's a unique fight, which I can appreciate. Now, as far as most of the level goes, it's kind of cool at the beginning how you have to fight the robot to get in, and then you meet Wolfgang's brother, which is a cool sort of side character. I do like him. And then as the level goes on, it doesn't really change too much. There's some grinding on the rails. There's some basic puzzles. There's the first level that has sky stones in it, which is pretty cool, so you actually get to play that a couple times. And then it ends pretty quick. Like this level is a shorter one, which is pretty weird, but the aesthetic is very nice. I like the aesthetic of this level, and it's very unique compared to anything else in the Skylanders series. Like, you don't really see any arcade levels, so this one is actually pretty cool. I like it, don't have any issues with it, and everything about it is pretty above average, I'd say, which lands it at solid A tier. Now, next up is Dragon Temple. This level is so forgettable in my opinion. Like, I forget it exists a lot of the time. With that being said, I think this level is amazing. I think this is an S tier level. I don't know why, but I always forget this exists, but when I play through it, it's awesome. It's one of the only levels, I think, in Skylanders where you get, like, an option of paths to choose that will both, like, they'll both spit you out at the same ending, but there's different paths you can take that give you different levels, so it's, like, great for replaying. It's absolutely awesome. You get to choose between fire and ice, and sort of doing puzzles and brainy activities, and doing just, like, hand-to-hand combat, which is very cool. Very interesting way to shake up the game. The aesthetic is very nice. It looks beautiful. It's a beautiful level, and the enemies are great too. All the sheeps that have sort of gone wild. There's the ones that shoot the little balls to slow you down. There's one with the Wolverine claws, and there's the one with the giant swords. They're all pretty cool. Definitely like this level. And the boss fight at the end, which is the bow slinger, it's one of the best Doomlanders in the game, which definitely boosts the level up even more. Now, next up, we got Abandoned Amusement Park. For me, this is another S tier level. I don't know why. This level, I just love it so much. It gives me the same sort of feeling as Dragon Temple, and which is definitely a good thing. It's, like, not really that visually appealing of a level, especially compared to these other ones that are all beautiful and have all these really cool landscapes. This one is pretty bland. It's just an old, rundown amusement park, but it has great enemies. The rats are some of the coolest enemies in the game, and I love fighting them. It ends off with one of the best Doomlanders in the game, being the Quick Shot. That one's an absolute blast to play against, but it can get frustrating because it's very hard, which is good. That's a good thing that it's hard. Makes it more fun. This level is kind of split into two sections after you do the cake part, which is kind of stupid, but it doesn't really affect the gameplay. After you do that in the initial part, which is actually going through the park and using these eels to power stuff, it's a cool gimmick. I have fun with it. But then after that, you start ascending up this big mountain, which is very cool. I really like that part. There's great combat, great platforming, and it doesn't drag on for too long, which makes it feel even better when you finally get to the fight. It's like, oh, there's like the time that I should be arriving at. I feel like I haven't just skipped half the level, but I also feel like I haven't been stuck here for ages. And there's some cool collectibles to find. Overall, great level. I absolutely love it, and it gives it a S tier for sure. Next up, we get the Layer of Chaos. This level I used to like a lot, but after playing through it more times, I realized you can just skip most of the enemies entirely and just go to the end of the level. So for that, I'm gonna give it C tier. I don't think that's. I still like it. Like, I still think it's a decent level. It doesn't do anything too bad. It's just the fact that you don't have to fight any enemies and it is a very narrow pathway. It's, like, very easy to cheese when you're doing a lock or something like that, where you're trying to do, like, or like a Nightmare mode playthrough. It's very easy to skip through this level and not have any issues up until the boss fight. But if you play through this level normally and actually do make sure that you defeat all the enemies, I think it's really fun. With the senseis or imaginators, this level can be awesome because they're super powerful, but you're going up against the strongest enemies in the game, which is a pretty cool battle. At the end, the chaos fight, I think is pretty good. I don't think it's a bad fight. I think it's better than a couple others in the series. I think it's better than the Swap Force one for sure. I think it's better than the Super Rechargers one probably. I think it's a decent fight, but overall, this level, just because of how skippable and quick and easy it can be for the final level, I'm gonna have to put it in C tier. Now, next up, we got Griffin Park Observatory. This one, for me, I'm going to have to put it in probably... I like open world games, and I like the open world design of this level, but I don't think it works that well. I'm going to put it in C tier. Having to do these missions where you go around and collect eggs, or no, you're planting eggs in these certain spots, I think. I can't quite remember. But it's decent. Like, it's a decent level, but it's... I don't really like the aesthetic of it, and I think a lot of the traversal is so limited that it barely feels like an open world level. Just waiting for sheep to like eat stuff so that you can move around. Going exploring it is very fun. It's a cool level, but I think for an open world level, it's still, the exploration seems very linear and limited as to where you can go during certain parts. It's like, I don't know, it doesn't feel that good. I think they could have done a lot better with an open world level, so it's not going to get much higher than C tier. It's still decent though. Like, even C, I think it's a decent level at least. Like, there's nothing too bad about it, so it's going to go in C tier. Next up, we got Enchanted Elven Forest, which I think is a C tier level. This level, it has an issue that can really hurt a level for me. Like, as far as the design goes, this level is great. The enemies are also great. Story to it isn't bad. Like, it's kind of cool. You just go into Stealth Elf's home to destroy these trees or whatever, and her master has kind of gone insane trying to burn down the whole forest. It's kind of interesting. The gameplay is nothing too bad about it, and it got some cool grind challenges, cool exploration with different rooms to explore, and decent gimmicks of putting out fires. However, the issue with this level is it drags on way too much at the end. Like, once you get to a certain point in the level, it just feels like so repetitive. Like, you just take a vine, land on a new tree, wipe out the enemies, put out the fires, hop on a new vine, go to a new tree, do the same thing over and over again. I feel like it drags on for way too long. If it didn't have that, and it didn't feel repetitive, and it had more, if it was either shorter or had more unique elements, it could easily be B or A tier, but because of that, it's going to be C tier. Now, next up, this level, for me, has the same issue as Enchanted Elven Forest, but the level itself I like more, and I think the combat's better, so it's going to get a B tier. This level definitely has some flaws, but overall, I still like it a lot. It does drag on way too much at the end, though. The gimmicks are decent, though. It has blocks that you don't see anywhere else in the game with, like, the spinning blades. Pretty cool. It got a cool NPC with Bob. He's pretty likable. And the reference to this being like I guess this level is supposed to be a fictional depiction of the corruption at Toys for Bob, which is a really cool theory that I'm definitely on board with. Is pretty interesting. Like, I think that's a really cool idea. Not that affects where the levels rank too much. It's pretty awesome being on the back of a dragon. Like, I think that's a very cool gimmick for a level. And then as you explore the rooms, that part's great. Once you get to, like, the second half of the level and you continue to just fight these waves of enemies in these big areas, it just gets very repetitive and hard to get through, which is why this gets B tier. If it didn't have that, it could be A or S tier, because this is pretty good other than that. Now, last up, we got Lost Imaginate Minds. Thump and Wumpa Islands I don't have, so I'm not going to be ranking that. That's the one level that I don't have. I don't have Crash or Cortex, so yeah. Lost Imaginate Minds, I think is solid A. It doesn't have the same issue that Enchanted Elven Forest and Cursed Sea Temple have of it dragging on at the end, and because of that, it's an A tier level. I think it's great. I really like playing it. I think the gimmick of, push and pull, not in that order, push and pull, there you go. I think that works pretty well with this level, and it lets us explore, like, these, like, Imaginite mines that are actually pretty cool. It looks pretty cool aesthetically, and I just like this level overall. Like, there isn't anything spectacular about it, but everything is just good. It does everything well. The level isn't too long, got a decent boss fight at the end, has good enemies and good combat, good exploration. It's just overall cool. Blobbers is the main NPC, and he has an interesting character arc in the level, which makes it even better and gives it an A tier in my opinion. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what your favorite Imaginators level is down in the comments below, and let me know what your least favorite is too. And if you have any ideas for games you want to see me rank the levels of in the future, let me know, because I'm definitely open to suggestions. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.